Oh, what's that? Y'all thought you were going to get away without learning anything for this week? Well, do I got some disappointing news for your ass. Readers, I feel like I need to start today's lesson off with a little PSA. Know that while I may have enjoyed Suicide Squad for what it was, I acknowledge the fact that it could have been 1,000 times better. So with that, I wholeheartedly respect the opinions of those of you who don't really paint the movie in a positive light if you have proper reasons to. Unless you're a fucking nihilist. Because there's no way in hell that I'm going to willingly talk to you about the things that make me happy, just so you can tell me that the shit don't even matter in the long run. I already have to deal with extreme cynicism in my everyday life. I am a bisexual black man living in America after all. And if you are a nihilist and you got offended by that joke, just know that by the textbook definition of nihilism, you weren't really a nihilist to begin with. What you are in actuality is just an asshole. And not the type of asshole that I have love for. So go fuck yourself. But yes, readers, I mentioned Suicide Squad because despite its success in its opening weekend, lots of people have been coming forward regarding a lot of things about what happened behind closed doors. Including the current incarnation of the Joker himself, Jared Leto, who had this to say in an interview he had with BBC Radio.
I think there's probably enough footage in this film for a Joker movie. If I were to die tomorrow, maybe the studio would roll something out. As the film stands now, I think it's much more of a supporting part than a lot of people may have assumed. It feels like there could be more to come. I think it entirely depends upon the response of the public. If they respond to this Joker, I could imagine the Joker coming back. But if they don't, I certainly wouldn't want to overstay my welcome.
Now, the reason for Leto's subtle casting of shade during the last leg of the interview was mostly due to him revealing that a good chunk of the scenes that he filmed as the Joker didn't make it into the final cut of Suicide Squad, despite them being used in multiple trailers, TV spots, and promotions by Warner Brothers promoting the fact that the character was in the movie. And there were even more removed from the film that was actually used for advertising. SourceFed Nerd revealed there were alternate versions of scenes that were in the movie, but had a more accurate representation of Joker and Harley's relationship mirroring what was shown in the comics and the animated series. That's not to say that what we got in the final cut wasn't accurate, mind you, but it was definitely toned down. As far as why it was toned down, however, is both unsurprising and disheartening. According to The Hollywood Reporter, there were actually two versions of the film. Writer and director David Ayer's original version of the movie, and a more lighthearted version forced by Warner Brothers. And after showing both versions of the movie to test audiences, Warner Brothers decided that the best route to go was to splice them together into what we got in last week's theatrical release. Why did Warner Brothers do this? Because they were rushed, and because they were scared. No, I didn't say David Ayer. No, I didn't say DC Films. I said Warner Brothers. Because the reception to Batman v Superman wasn't what they were anticipating, and because they were committed to releasing Suicide Squad on time, Warner Brothers scrambled together millions of dollars for last-minute reshoots to deliver what we currently have in theaters despite denying that was the case. And I even sided with them when that rumor came out. Then Warner Brothers dropped that Justice League info dump on us, telling us that they can be just as fun and lighthearted as the MCU, instead of treating us with respect and showing us. And combining that past fiasco with what's come to light recently, the WB's credibility to me is starting to fall faster than that of fucking EA games. Because the one thing we can learn about this revelation regarding how the current situation of the Suicide Squad came to be, readers, is how important credibility is. And the definition of credibility is the quality of being trusted and believed in. Readers, David Ayer's original cut of the movie was good enough for Warner Brothers to greenlight a sequel, with Ayer and Will Smith's Deadshot to be back on board to film next year. Ever since Warner Brothers' Panic Attack and their lighthearted edit, however, David had to work out a deal with Netflix to make his next non-DC movie Bright, because Warner Brothers decided not to move forward with it. Readers, today's episode of Readus 101 is brought to you by the letter W. For whack! Now, there is a possibility that we'll be getting a director's cut for Suicide Squad when it's released on DVD and Blu-ray, a la Dawn of Justice. And now that Jeff Johns is officially the Kevin, insert proper pronunciation of that motherfucker's last name here, for DC Films, there's the possibility that there won't be that many cases of take-backsies from Warner Brothers, or that there won't be more than one change of heart card in their Duel Monsters deck from Wonder Woman onward. But their anxious-ass decision as far as how they handled Suicide Squad and how they initially handled the Justice League news is a clear indicator where their credibility lies with a lot of us. Not just with us fans and casual moviegoers, but with their creators and creatives as well. Now, I could tell you what could happen to the WB if they keep following in their current track record, but I'll just let Celie from The Color Purple tell you instead.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
So readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comments section below in the most creative way you can imagine your opinion regarding the current state of Warner Brothers' credibility. And don't let nihilism keep you from subscribing to the channel. Because it's true, we all will end up dead one day. But at least you got me to watch until that happens. You like how I did that? They call that in the comedy business a Dane Cook vicious circle. Or it could be called something else, I don't fucking know. Anyway, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.